Welcome to episode 3 of Rebel Wrap Up. I'm your host, Tim Tao. This evening's show, we have head coach Chad Cheatham, defensive coordinator Adam Turner, Dalton Ross, Braden Foster are going to join us on the first segment, and we will be joined in our second segment by Andre Bivens and Tommy Ledford. Big week for the Rebels coming off a 49-13 victory over Banks County. We host Gordon Central for our senior night this Friday night, so we got a lot to talk about in today's show. We are live here at Circuit World. You can watch this episode as other episodes of Rebel Wrap Up on demand on FYNTV.com. Or you can also check us out on the Team FYN Sports YouTube page. Thank you once again to Circuit World for sponsoring this broadcast. Follow us on Facebook. Click like Team FYN Sports on Twitter, as well as on Instagram. You can follow us at Team FYN Sports. Coach, it was a great week for Fannin County football. We defeated Banks County 49-13 on Friday night to become 3-0 for the first time since 2005. Our JV defeated Basin and almost pulled out a win over Pickens County. So our JV played very well.
26-20, I think so.
I guess what it was.
8th grade last week defeated Lumpkin 6-0. That's the same team they lost to in the championship last year. So great job of Coach Simonton and the crew. Our youth teams went down to Gilmer on Saturday. Our 6U beat Gilmer 28-27. Our 7-year-olds lost 21-12. Our 9-year-olds beat Gilmer 45-0, and our 10-year-olds beat Gilmer 14-0. But before we talk about Banks County, Coach, we want to give a big shout out to all our middle school and rec teams as they went 5-1 over Gilmer County on the season. I know we would have loved to had an opportunity to play Gilmer County, but our middle school teams and youth teams took care of business. Coach Cheatham, before we get started, talk about Coach Simonton and the middle school program and the success they're having so far this season.
Well, I had the opportunity to coach Simonton at Jefferson, and then he was actually he worked with me in the PE department his senior year in that spring semester, and went and played at Kennesaw State and did a great job at linebacker there. He became a GA for him and helped with linebackers at the college level, and then went down south and wanted to come back towards this area. He brings a lot of energy to those young kids. He brings a lot of excitement, enthusiasm, and that's what those guys need. And I enjoy the fact that to have a coach that sometimes, you got to reel in a little bit instead of one that you got to push. He reminds me of a little bit of somebody I know that I'll be driving home with tonight, in the way he coaches and in the way he gets the crowd involved and the way he is so passionate about things. He just can't get like me and start throwing headsets and stuff like that. That's the most important thing.
Once again, we're live here at Circuit World. You can watch this episode as well as other episodes of Rebel Wrap Up on demand on FYNTV.com and the Team FYN Sports YouTube page. Thank you once again, Circuit World, for sponsoring this broadcast. Follow us on Facebook, click like Team FYN Sports, and on Twitter at Team FYN Sports, as well as on Instagram at Team FYN Sports. Region 7AA, of course, region play starts this Friday. We're very excited. We begin region play at 3-0. Coosa is 2-1. Model is at 2-2. Gordon Central, Pepperell, Chattooga, and Dade are all 1-3. Last week's games in the region, Dade lost to Mount Zion Carroll 35-33. Temple beat Pepperell behind a 24th quarter points, 34-21. Gordon Central fell short against Gordon Lee. We were the only team in the region to get a W again this past week as we defeated Banks 49-13. But now everyone is 0-0 as we start region play. We host Gordon Central for senior night 7:30 kickoff this week in the region. Pepperell will host Dade County. Coosa hosts Lakeview Academy in non-region action. And Model was supposed to host Chattooga, but Chattooga had to cancel due to COVID protocols. Chattooga will now not be able to play next week's game also against Gordon Central. Once again, we are live here at Circuit World. You can watch this episode as well as other Rebel Wrap-Up episodes on demand on FYNTV.com. All right, let's dive into the game, Coach Cheatham and Coach Turner. We'll bring you on here in just a second, and Braden and Dalton. We'll get you guys in on the action. We won the game 49-13, Coach. I know Friday night was filled with tons of emotions for you coaching against players you've coached and coaches that you've coached with. Talk about your time at Banks County for those listening that don't know about your time at Banks County, and what was it like coaching that game against all those guys that you knew on Friday night?
Obviously, it's special anytime you get to coach against guys that you coached, that know you, know your philosophies, and have produced for you. As they were freshmen and sophomores, and they're seniors now and juniors. So it's good to see how they've matured. And they played really well. They played really hard. They played like I thought they would play. Gave us fits early. Especially when we were on offense or defense, was doing some things we hadn't seen, so they were schemed up pretty good. And our defense again kept us in it. It was 14 to 6. There, I think at the end of the half, we shot ourselves in the foot a couple times. So, my hat's off to them, and I appreciate them and enjoyed the fact that I got to see them and watch them as how they have matured.
Coach Turner, the defense stepped up and really played well. What were you most proud of in the 49-13 victory?
Well, I was most proud of. How we were able to. We did a really good job of identifying some of the things they did offensively, and of course anytime you end up with 7 total turnovers, 6 interceptions and a fumble recovery.
I lost count because of some other.
Right, we had lost. We had a couple called back, and that right there kind of told the tale out, defensively how we played. We at first we were a little shell shocked at first. I guess we had the home opener, deer in the headlights look a little bit defensively, and they hit us with a few things early in the first quarter, but we calmed down and settled down and basically did our thing. So,
Braden, it was a big win for our home opener. What was your favorite moment in the win on Friday night?
Probably when we came out and ran no huddle. Probably was our last drive offensively as starters. And we just came out, ran one play, and scored, and came off the field and knew we won the game.
Really put the exclamation point on the win. Second question, Braden. Coming off the field, even after a win, there's always room for improvement. What have you been working on this week to get better and prepare for Gordon Central?
We've been working on starting out better. We need to start the game out better. In the first half, we didn't do very good on offense, and we had a turnover and a few mistakes that cost us big, and we need to start better.
Dalton, pretty much the same questions. A big win, our home opener. You had a sack. What was your favorite moment in the win on Friday night?
My favorite moment was whenever we finally all started to click and just ran up the score on it.
Coming off the field, no mercy, right?
I didn't run up the score.
Yeah, you did. You looked at me and went.
Even after the win, Dalton, there's always room to improve. So what have you been working on this week to get better?
We've been working on getting off the ball better and starting off better on defense.
Once again, we're live here at Circuit World. You can watch this episode as well as other episodes of Rebel Wrap Up on demand on FYNTV.com and the Team FYN Sports YouTube page. Thank you once again, Circuit World, for sponsoring this broadcast. You can follow us on Facebook, click like Team FYN Sports, and on Twitter at Team FYN Sports, as well as on Instagram. Just kind of diving into the game right quick. First quarter, Banks won a toss and elected to get the football. Seth Reese got an interception on the drive near the goal line. We fumbled it and gave it back to him. Banks did score on us on a double pass and took an early 6-0 lead. We get the ball back, and Luke shows why he's an all-state punter. He had a great punt down there all the way to the 4-yard line. Kahutta had a pick six, but we had a penalty called back on the return. Coach Cheatham, what are you saying to the guys after the kind of a shaky start at the end of the first quarter?
What am I saying to them on the sideline?
Yeah,
I can't
tell
say.
us. Okay, well, we didn't get the answer.
It's a little heated down there. The second time we didn't start off the way we wanted to, But I kept saying that, we don't want to kill their aggression. We want to see that fire. We want to see those things. Obviously, we got to find out which is the front and which is the back when we're blocking somebody, on a downfield thing. And, we can't blindside, crack back anymore. We got to use our hands. Do I always agree with that? That's not kind of the football I grew up with. But that's the rules of the game. We got to
It's
play
the game now.
We got to play inside the rules, and we did it. But I did enjoy watching our kids be very aggressive. So you got to treat that in a couple of ways. You got to obviously address the mistakes, but you got to keep them still hungry and still being very physical.
Start of the second quarter, Banks County punts the ball back to us. Luke hits Jalen for a big play, and we finally get a little bit of momentum. Luke Holloway got on the board on the ground with 3 minutes and 48 seconds left in the first quarter, take a 7-6 lead on a 13-yard run on fourth and 1. Braden, what's it like being part of this very successful offensive line?
Well, I mean, there's a big target on our backs. You know, we haven't given up a sack all season, so they're coming after us to get a sack, get our quarterback on the ground.
Next drive, Cahutta picks off a pass. He takes it to the end zone, but we get another block in the back call. Luke hits Jalen and gets on the board 14-6 us with 2:41 left in the second quarter. Banks County would get the ball back and gets more yards and penalties. It seemed like that they did in actual yards. They tried to get us on another double pass, and the pass was incomplete, but they called us for targeting in the end zone. Dalton, you and Waldrop were part of a sack on first down after the targeting call, and Mercer got the sack on second down. And it was third down in K's Auto Parts, and Waldrop got the sack for us. Dalton, you had a great season last year, one of the sack leaders in 7 AAA. Been a part of both defenses the last 2 seasons, have been very successful. What did you do in the offseason to stay in football shape? And what's it like playing a big role in this defense, a defense that has playmakers all over the field?
It's exciting to play with this defense, and I just really sat around. But whenever the season came around, we started running, and I got back in shape.
You got in football shape. Had to get in football shape quick.
Yeah.
At least he's honest.
Not what you guys wanted to hear. But
We thought he'd been tearing it up.
No, I know.
we're live here at Circuit World. You can watch this episode as well as other episodes of Rebel Wrap Up on demand on FYNTV.com and the Team FYN Sports YouTube page. Thank you once again, Circuit World, for sponsoring this broadcast. Coach Turner, good performance by the defense in the first half. That double pass got us, but other than that, a pretty good half. What adjustments did you guys make at halftime on defense, if any?
Very little. I mean, there's a couple little things that, they were getting us outnumbered on the edge and stuff, and with some different from some formational stuff. But we didn't change a whole lot. We didn't change a whole lot. I mean, there's just some small little technical things we adjusted to. But other than that, the game plan pretty much stayed the same to the second half.
Coach, we're up 14-6 at halftime. Now talk about what you said to the guys at the half.
What I said before the game, and I always say I try to be as calm as possible. And what I said before the game was, at some point I said this to you after the game, and in every Warriors battle, you'll get a whisper in your ear that you can't weather the storm. Well, it's time to be the storm. We talked about that again today, and when you're in the middle of a storm and you're not making good decisions, you've got to really step back, reflect, see what's going on, and correct it. I told them to fix it, and they fixed it. And I think in the third quarter, in about 9 minutes, I think we put 35 on the board, I think.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that in part 2 of our episode here. Of course, we've got senior night this coming Friday. Dalton, with it being senior night on Friday, you've meant a lot to the Rebel football program the last few years. It's been great getting to watch you play defense. What has been your favorite memory playing football for Fannin County?
Just being around my friends and being around the coaches and just enjoying it and being here.
Braden, same question. It's been fun getting to know you. Of course, I've got to know your family real well, getting to coach Vince for 2 years, and your mom does a lot for our football program. What's been your favorite memory being a Fannin County Rebel these past 4 years?
Probably my favorite memory was when we made the playoffs my sophomore year. That's something coming in my freshman year we thought we'd never do. And just doing that was a huge eye-opener of what we could do, what we could become. So that's probably my favorite memory.
Before we go to a commercial break, you guys want to touch on what these guys have meant to the program?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I talked to them today, and I went back 3 years when we first had them, and I said, and I told this group, I said, remember when I told you, don't blink, that it will be here before you know it, and it's here. And somebody had said something to me last night that this group of seniors had really changed the face of Fannin County football over the last 3 years, and I think that's absolutely the truth.
Absolutely.
It's been a good ride. It's not over. I mean, we're going to continue to play into December, so we got a lot of time with these guys. Obviously, we're doing senior night and homecoming early because of the COVID protocols and things like that, so that we don't have to necessarily cram one in at the end of the year. But even though it's senior night, we're a long ways from being finished.
Absolutely. That will conclude part one. And stick around to commercial break. We'll have Andre Bivens and Tommy Lepford join us in the second half of the show.
At Ingalls, we know that school is a little different this year, with virtual learning and working from home. But we have continued to donate to our Tools for Schools program, just like always. And all our participating schools will have those funds waiting for them when the bell rings this fall.
Okay, who can tell me the difference between molarity and molality?
In the meantime, Ingalls has everything you need to make this school year a little easier. Ingalls, we're with you every step of the way.
Circuit World has 9-piece living room packages at incredible prices. Get this stylish sofa and love seat, 3 tables, 2 lamps, 43-inch 4K TV, and stand, all for only $1699.99 or $129.99 a month. Or get this 9-piece living room and reclining sofa and reclining love seat, now only $1999.99 or $149.99 a month. These packages are amazing. Stop in today at one of our 5 locations and get the furniture you've always wanted at Circuit World.
Sometimes it's the little victories that mean the most. Those everyday celebrations that bring a smile to our faces and joy to our hearts. At Ingalls, we know there's no one you'd rather share those miniature memorable moments with than family. Ingalls, all the ingredients for family.
Welcome back to Rebel Wrap Up. We are live here at Circuit World. You can watch this episode as well as other episodes of Rebel Wrap Up on demand on FYNTV.com and Team FYN Sports YouTube page. Thank you once again, Circuit World, for sponsoring this broadcast. Follow us on Facebook, click like Team FYN Sports, and on Twitter at Team FYN Sports, as well as on Instagram. We've got Andre Bivens and Tommy Ledford here for the part 2 of the show. We're going to talk about the 35-point third quarter in just a moment. But let's talk to Andre and Tommy for a little bit. Andre, big win, our home opener. What was your favorite moment in the win? I think I may have an idea of what you're going to say.
Probably scoring a touchdown. That was a good memory, but also like picking back up because I knew what we were doing in the first quarter wasn't our game, and so picking it up was really good. Yeah, and that may lead into the next question. Coming off the field, even after win, there's always room for improvement. So what have you been working on this week to get better at to prepare for Gordon Central? I've been working on getting my back pedal. I got beat one time, which resulted in that one score that really bugged me. So I've been really working on like getting back, make sure nobody's behind me. So. I got you, Tommy. A big win for us last night, Friday night, but a big night for you. What was your favorite moment in the win on Friday night?
My favorite part about winning Friday night is that I think it was pretty cool for us to win at home again for like the second time forever. It's been forever.
Yeah, it had been a while. Coming off the field this week, there's always room for improvement. So what have you been working on this week to get better at practice?
I've been helping some of the guys, like on the offense, like when we go to scout team. I've been helping Dylan, another guy who's on the offensive line. His name's Dylan. We call him Dill Pickle. Me and James help him get better at getting on the guys on the defense, on Gordon Central's defense.
That's important.
Absolutely.
Scout team guy, two guys are going to jump in there and say, hey, we're going to spend our week making this offense better by giving everything they've got, and it's not always an easy job. Matter of fact, those guys are our heroes and what makes the thing go well. And I applaud those guys like Tommy that jump in there and get out there on Friday night, and it pays off because it gets them a big sack. And, it worked out good for them.
It's definitely a team game. So we come out of the locker room firing. We score quick with Caleb Postel on the ground. We lead 21-6 with 10 minutes left. Jake Sands just misses an interception. Banks calls a timeout. The same play, they run the same play out of the timeout. Jake picks it off and takes that one to the house. Coach Turner, we'll ask you this. Talk about the development of Jake Sands, a guy who, like a bunch of Rebels, have stepped up so far.
Well, he's obviously been a big piece of the puzzle for us defensively, and he's last year we had him over there, and we just had to find a home for him, and we kind of moved him around. I had him at inside linebacker at first, and then we decided to move him, try to see what he looked like on outside at Rover and Pony this year, and he's really caught on. Obviously, he's caught on pretty good, and he sees stuff. He's a good open field tackler. He's a good contained guy. He's a good force guy. I mean, he does everything we ask him to do, and couldn't ask anything more out of him. So
just like that, it's 28-6. Banks kind of gets the ball back, and they throw a pass. Cahuta Hyde intercepts the ball, takes it 85 yards, and now it's 35-6 with 6:26. So just like that, we're leading 35-6. Coach Turner, you've been a part of our program now for several years. Can you remember a single game performance on defense that would compare to Cahuta Hyde's 3 interceptions?
Well, not taking anything away from the 3, the 3 interceptions. That's awesome. But I look at it. When you create that many turnovers, that means all 11 of them's doing their job.
Exactly.
And you really can't. It was an outstanding. Outstanding defensive performance, just with the amount of for the turnovers and things like that. But as far as to compare it to anything, it's really kind of difficult. Just because realistically, last couple of weeks we've played very well as a unit defensively. Especially the last couple of weeks, and got to continue to grow on it because we start playing for real. This week. So
it starts. We're going to stick with you, Coach Turner. The next drive, your boy McKay gets the fumble recovery. Talk about what it's like watching McKay play and play well.
Well, he's. You can thank Coach Thigpen for that. He was I mean, he was on him and showing up at the house, and been on him, for last couple of years, and I've always kind of not want to be, that guy or that dad. Yeah, you're going to play football or else. I mean, he's such a well-rounded kid, and he's wrestled his whole life, and
Pretty good at that too.
yeah, and I was really proud. I'm really proud of him that he did come out, because he does. I mean, he has his role for us defensively, and he's adapted very well. I mean, he played with these guys when we moved up here when he was in 7th grade. So all these guys grew up with him. I mean, we've all, he's known everybody, and it just, finally the light clicked with him. He wanted to come out and play. So.
Very next play, Luke found Andre in the end zone for a 24-yard touchdown pass. So now we lead 42-6. Andre, what was the play call, and talk about what it meant finding the end zone right there?
The play call was Ted, and it was waggle left. So I had this running streak combined. I was singled up, and it was really good to get in the end zone. I mean, I'm always happy to help the team. So I'm glad to put points on the board for the team.
It was a great effort right there. We kicked the ball off course. Banks punts it back to us. Seth Reese got in the end zone, and now we lead 49-6 with 2 minutes and 55 seconds left in the third. That'll be the last time we scored in the third quarter. Coach Cheatham, if you can, just describe the third quarter. A lot of
fast defense. We only had 30 snaps on line on offense, which means that we were scoring on offense, and then when they punted it, when we had to punt, we were playing great defense, and we were picking it and taking it to the house, and then it was a whirlwind. I looked up at the 5-minute mark, and I said to somebody, I said, man, it's still the third quarter. And then I looked at the 2-minute mark, and when we scored, and I was like, man, it's still the third quarter. And I think at that point, it was probably about that time, I said, that's it. Let's get these young guys in. Let's start rocking and rolling, get them on the grass, and let's play a little bit.
And they played well.
They sure did.
They played well. Coach Stern, talk about how proud you are of the defense the whole game.
Well, I mean, we just got to overcome. It was great to overcome. Giving up a few yards right there at the beginning, but we settled. Like I said, we settled down. Told you earlier, we settled down, and we basically pretty much played lights out from that point on. Once we got everything settled in and fixed and doing what we had practiced all week. That was the big thing, with the little flurry of, out routes they were hitting us with it right there at the beginning. We weren't doing what we did earlier in practice, and once we got them settled down, and they did what we were supposed to do, so could be prouder.
Tommy, at halftime you got named homecoming king, and then you got a big sack. Talk about how good that sack felt on the home field.
It felt good. I was super pumped. The crowd was going crazy. That moment was just awesome.
It was a fun moment on Friday night. Andre, with it being senior night on Friday, you've meant so much to this football program, and it's been great getting to watch you play offense and defense. What has been your favorite memory playing football at Fannin County?
One of my favorite memories is obviously giving the game-winning pick at Chester T last year, but I love it when we ended up being a team really bad. When I'm coming off on special teams, coach is like, okay, let's cut off the dogs. And I'm like, I always thought that was kind of funny. So
that's definitely special. Tommy, kind of same question. With it being senior night Friday, you've meant so much to this football program. It's been fun getting to watch you over the past few years. What's been your favorite memory of being a Fannin County Rebel?
Well, now I'm gonna go back a couple of years because my favorite memory was me tackling the bear a couple.
Turkey Bluff
Bear.
Pep rally.
That was fun. Coach, they paid me to go get him.
You got it.
You got it.
I forgot about that.
Guys, Coach T and Coach Turner, if y'all don't care, just talk about what both these guys have meant to the football program.
Oh, they're huge. It's a passion that Tommy brings to the table. He's like my shadow, and we feed off each other. And I know this about Tommy Ledford. He always has my back. There ain't no question.
No doubt about it.
That's right, Coach.
And you want to coach kids like that. You want to coach kids who get excited. You want to coach kids that understand their role and that know that they love you and you love them. and that he's going to give you everything he's got. It doesn't matter what the situation is. Obviously, with Andre's special relationship, we've been through a lot together over the last 3 years, and you know, these guys are going to be really hard to replace. Andre's has grown, matured. I've watched him become an excellent football player over the last 3 years and really commit himself to becoming a good football player and a great athlete. He's worked in the weight room and things like that, which is what it takes. And so it'll always be special with me.
Coach Turner, you want to add?
Well, I mean, just to go off what Coach Cheatham says. I mean, I've watched these guys for years, and it's really. I mean, it's been a heck of a ride, with them. Watching them grow and watch them become good football players, and seeing them to get to enjoy success, and let's just keep it going.
Tommy, you help me, man. I'm all the time trying to get the crowd pumped up, and a lot of times they don't listen to me, but they listen to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate you and everything you've done for Fannin County football. Coach Cheatham, talk real quick about Gordon Central. I know they've got a big back coming, Boone.
What you got, Tom?
I got a note.
Go ahead.
That I need to say.
Go ahead.
It's about what you said. Coach Cheatham gave us a special. Well, I'm gonna say, Coach Cheatham gave us a speech last week, and all I have to say is Jim Cantori will have to stay in Blue Ridge because there's a storm brewing, boys. There's a storm brewing.
Be the storm, man. Be the storm.
I like it. The storm is coming. But Coach, talk real quick about Gordon Central. I know they got a big back, Jordan Boone. They like to run it a lot. Occasionally they'll throw it, but they're mainly a running team led behind that Boone running back.
The quarterback in the back, pretty good sized kids. I mean, they're physical and they run the ball downhill. They do like to run the football. They're in a spread wing, and they get in at double slots and do some option type stuff and some midline. We've got to stop the run defensively. Offensively, they're a 3-4 scheme. They bring a lot of heat. You're going to see a lot of edge coming off, a lot of edge heat coming off one side. You're going to see some inside pressures, changing their coverages around. Sometimes they'll man, sometimes they'll jump out and double cover you. We got to do a good job of protecting our quarterback and our backfield. Obviously, you do that by establishing and run, and we're going to try to do that early. And then really got to work on sliding our protection, protecting Luke in the pocket, and maybe making some solid calls to be able to defend what they do.
Once again, we're live here at Circuit World. You can watch this episode as well as other episodes of Rebel Wrap Up on demand on FYNTV.com and the Team FYN Sports YouTube page. Thank you once again, Circuit World, for sponsoring this broadcast. Follow us on Facebook, click like Team FYN Sports, and on Twitter at Team FYN Sports, as well as on Instagram. Guys, any final thoughts before we close the show?
I got something special for this segment.
Tommy's got something he's got over here.
All right.
It better not be like a cat or anything.
It's
like
not.
that. Have to.
Oh,
He brought it out.
I like it.
Tom's gonna put it on. Hold on.
Oh, boy, homie.
The king.
The homecoming king.
The king. Put it on, Big Tom. Oh, yeah.
Have a seat, Tom.
There you go, Tom.
Yes, sir.
The homecoming king is in the building.
Sir.
Appreciate you, Tom. That's awesome, buddy.
It is.
I like it.
I do like that. I haven't seen
I
that
like
song in a
it.
while.
I like it. Guys, any final thoughts before we close the show?
I think we're good.
Yeah, I think so.
Friday night, 7:30. It's senior night. Senior night festivities begin at 6:50. Please be in the stands early and honor these seniors. This is a special group, and they went through a lot. There's a lot of moments this year we didn't even know they would even get to play, and they've overcome a lot of adversity, and they're one of the best senior classes in school history. Hopefully, when it's all said and done, they already are, but when it's all said and done, they really could be. But be there, Rebel Nation, 6:50. For senior night festivities. Once again, we're live here at Circuit World. Thank you, Circuit World, for sponsoring us. You can watch this episode as well as other episodes of Rebel Wrap Up on demand on FYNTV.com and the Team FYN Sports YouTube page. Thank you. Have a good night and go Rebels.